This is the Astros Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Houston Astros, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Things started with a bang for the Astros on Saturday, and then they quickly went down the hill as they got to the fourth inning, which proved to be the sinking point of the baseball game as the bats just could not find any way to claw back into the baseball game today as the Astros drop game 2 of this 3-game series against the Minnesota Twins and fall to 3-5 now on the regular season. This is the Locked On Astros Postcast here this afternoon. I am your host, Michael Connor. Thank you for joining me this afternoon here on the Locked On Astros YouTube page. If you're listening to this on the audio feed, make sure you go and subscribe as well. We're here with you after every game, win or loss. When the Astros play, we will react to it, what goes on out there on the field. What we saw today for the Astros was just simply not good. We have a lot to get through. Of course, Spencer Arrighetti having a very rough day out there on the mound when it comes to how the fourth inning went, sinking the Astros there. And then again, like I mentioned, the bats going bye-bye. Bye-bye today after having a good day on Thursday. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app and create an account and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Okay, so what was the turning point of this game? I bet you have an idea.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Well, we know where it was lost today, in the fourth inning. Now, big picture, it was lost also because the Astros scored one run. The fourth inning was a disaster. Bad fielding, bad pitching, bad decisions, all over the place. Things that you cannot do to win baseball games consistently. Typically, the Astros know how to play a clean game, know how to play a smart game. They did not do those things in that fourth inning today. You know, judging and saying, like, I'll see comments sometimes like, oh, he just decided to not throw strikes today, or he couldn't. You know, when you don't take your command seriously, this is what happens. It's not as easy as like we want to sit here and say it is pitching a baseball. Now, look, through the first 3 innings, Spencer Arrighetti looked pretty good. He did have a walk, I believe, to start the third inning, but it's like the wheels just came off in that fourth. You know, he is expected to have a big role in this team this year. I get that, and I am hopeful that it is more like his first start than it is today, and I think that there's still reason to have hope that it can and it will be. But I will say this, like these kind of games with him are always going to pop up. He has a little bit of McCullers in him to me, and I say that because, one, it's not exactly the same, but there's a little bit of a similarity in some of the mechanics of throwing the baseball. At times, it's hard to repeat those mechanics to have spot-on command. And then also, he throws pitches that don't go straight. Everything bends or comes back or whatever. Like, everything moves. Those kind of guys that can't command a ball typically to go straight. I know he throws a four-seam, but even the four-seam moves some. But those guys that can't do that all the time, they just typically aren't the most command-driven guy, and that's okay. You don't have to be a command-driven guy to have success in this league. You know, it's okay. You want it, but you don't have to be pinpoint. So, like, I think the narrative that gets thrown out when these kind of games happen that he didn't take his, his command seriously today or whatever. You know, I think that's just oversimplifying things and not looking into it. Look, he did not execute in that fourth inning. The Astros, on top of that, did not help him behind him. They've got growing pains out there a little bit in left field. Altuve's playing left. He made a bad play there. Probably getting a little too aggressive on what he's going to do with that ball that's hit to him on a hop. I don't think that they're going to send Buxton there, even though Altuve's arm is something that you should test. And look, he made a mistake. It happens. He did make a good play later in the game out there in the gap. I didn't want to give him credit for that. He made a good play on a ball hit towards the gap as well that he caught. And overall, I will say through the first 8 games, he's got better natural instincts at reacting to the baseball than I expected, which is a good sign. He's going to end up being, like they said, an average left fielder, which is completely fine. There are positions on the field where you are average defensively, and he will be average. That's great. That's a win. You can live with average out there. But you have that. Obviously, you go ahead and you pull Arrighetti there in the fourth. Had to at that point because things were spiraling. There was also the chopper to second base. And it's easy again from my seat to sit here and say, you got to make a more accurate throw. It's quick. It's bang, bang. Brendan Rodgers makes the throw over to Pena at second. It's a little wide. Pena, it stays on the bag, but can't make the return. It has no chance of making the return throw to first in time to get the out, so he just eats it. That probably helps him with another run. And then, of course, you bring in Taylor Scott. And I don't know. For whatever reason, and this is why they do pitcher fielding practice, pitchers just have – most of them have no ability to play defense. And I think because for the most part, you're just so uber focused on what you do and are so worried about that there's a lot of guys that just don't care to put in the effort to be that guy or put in the thought process of, hey, that ball comes to me. What am I going to do here or whatever? Because as an infielder, it really isn't any fielder, but any position. I'm just talking infield in specifics here. In your mind, before every play, you should be running through the, hey, what am I doing if the ball comes to me here? Hey, what if I do if it comes to my left? Hey, what do I do if it comes to my right? As a pitcher, you should be thinking, okay, what if I do if the ball comes to me directly here? Or what if it's a little dribbler this way or a little dribbler that way? That was one of those plays that in your head, if you thought it out before, that, okay, a dribbler down the third base line that I have to run and sprint from the mound to get, unless it's like end of career Albert Pujols running, my odds of making that play, especially as a pitcher, even though I throw the ball for a living, are slim. And my best bet in that situation is to just eat it and move on from the play. That gifted them another run as well. And like I said, that fourth inning absolutely sunk them. So what do you walk away with or from this game talking about more than anything else?
This is what you'll be talking about.
Pitching. Back in the forefront. 8 games, 6 solid starts, 2 bad ones. Today counts as a bad one. I think that's what people will walk away with, the instant overreaction, which is fine. You are a fan. You are allowed to instantly overreact. In my mind, as long as we always bring it back to, level-headed at some point is what I try to do. They're not in trouble all of a sudden pitching-wise. This is their second turn through the rotation. Arrighetti today did not have a great start. Fromber and his did not have a great start. Hunter Brown had a great start. Got 2 more starts to go through the second turn through the rotation. If you end up with 3 of 5 having good starts, solid starts, you're going to feel pretty good about things still. Ronel Blanco goes tomorrow against Chris Paddock, by the way, in the series finale, as it is the rubber match of the 3-game series. But don't overreact to Spencer Arrighetti having one bad day today to the point where you just think, oh my God, the wheels are going to fall off and the Astros have a pitching problem. I've said it. Now, you could have question marks without a doubt about pitching depth in this organization. This is not an organization that has any kind of depth at all. And if you believe, and if there's anybody out there that believes that they have organizational depth at really any position, they're kidding themselves. And they've got blue and orange goggles on that they can't see through. They are a very poor minor league system that does not have a lot of it. Do they have some guys that are intriguing arm-wise? Yes, absolutely. Are they going to get health back at some point, it appears, to get some guys back that's going to help? Yes, of course. And if it does hit the point where they suddenly are really, really poor, pitching-wise, or Spencer Arrighetti, for some reason, it balloons and gets worse, and, he's a problem for them. Then you can worry about that kind of stuff. But it's 2 starts. There's absolutely no reason to freak. He was great in the first one. Today just wasn't very good. And it was really in 1 inning. And that's all it takes sometimes in Major League Baseball. That is absolutely all it takes at times, and we saw it today out there for the Astros in this loss to the Minnesota Twins. We got a lot more to get into. Bats going cold, needing to get that series win tomorrow. And yeah, we got to give out a player of the game still. We'll do that here in a brief second on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trade, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with a few clicks. Plus, use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Astros dropping game 2 of the 3-game set this afternoon to the Minnesota Twins in front of a very light crowd there at Target Field. I know it's freezing cold there, but it's their second home game of the season. And Minnesotans are, I think that's what they call themselves, Minnesotans. I know that they're a little bit more weathered when it comes to dealing with, they're capable of dealing with that kind of weather. And I was shocked at how few people were at that game today. It looked like, even though it's cold, it looked like it's really nice outside. Sun's out. Unlike the city of Houston, I can't remember the last time we've seen the sun. It's been gross lately. But I was shocked when I looked up and like, there's nobody at this game. It's a day game, the second day game of the second game of the season at home, and they're not showing up. Weird. That's a good baseball city typically. Again, I think it's more than it's probably the cold. As the summer moves on, that fan base usually shows up. But they did not provide any kind of home field advantage today for the Twins. But the Twins did not need it because the Astros decided to go ahead in that fourth inning and, give it right back. That sets up tomorrow a rubber match of this 3-game series where flat out the Astros have to have it. They can't lose the second consecutive series. Okay, again, I know technically they can lose the second consecutive series because, again, this will be game number 9 of the regular season, and there's nothing about this season that is done at all. But like I've mentioned before, you don't want to keep digging any kind of holes. The Astros are at 3-5, which currently at this moment, talked easily, puts them 3 games out in the American League West and in 4th place. That's not what you want to do consistently. Hopefully the Tampa Bay Rays can take down the Texas Rangers tonight and help the Astros out a little bit. And we're not going to be in complete not even scoreboard watching, but standings watch on April the 5th. We got a long way to go here, but you do have to at least keep an eye on it, of course. The Astros have to have it tomorrow. And Ronel Blanco, who was overall pretty solid in his first start, they're going to need him to come back out and be good tomorrow. He's going up against Chris Paddock, who was brutal in his first start of the season. Hopefully that guy shows up. Blanco's coming off of 5 innings of 3-run ball. Again, it wasn't like unbelievable, but gave the Astros a chance to win the baseball game that day. Today's starter did not really give them a chance to win, and then their offense reverted again back to what they've been doing. Let's get to that offense now. Let's talk through some of these things. First off, before we get to the bad of what the offense did today, let's give out this.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I bet you can take a guess at who I'm giving this to. Oh, yes, you got it right. His name is Jose Altuve. He is the player of the game today because, he had 3 hits. I know that he had an error out there in the outfield, but he provided the Astros only run of the game That's kind of what's disappointing of it. You come out, you hit a leadoff home run, you're facing a pitcher in Ober that the Astros have a lot of guys that have had success against him. And he doesn't throw necessarily hard for a big leaguer, and they couldn't do anything. But Altuve, 3 for 5. He's off to a 364 start. And even better, is a rebound from his 5 strikeout game on Thursday that he did for the first time in his big league career. Launched a 359-foot, so not a super long home run to start the baseball game, pounded out a couple other hits later in the game. Good stuff from Jose Altuve, so he gets the player of the game. Let's go through the rest of it. We've done this. Has kind of been a rolling thing here on the show. Isaac Paredes, I've said it basically every time that I talk about him. He has to figure it out. He puts together good at-bats typically that make pitchers work, but the guy's hitting 148 the first 8 games of the season. Yordan Alvarez, 138. He did hit a ball hard today, which was nice, but he also had an opportunity with the bases loaded in less than 2 outs and could not provide for the Astros. Sat there and looked at strike 3. Played right into the pitcher's hand. They kept hitting him fastball. Then they hit him with a breaking ball, and he wasn't ready for it. And there you go. Christian Walker so far has not been a good addition to this baseball team. Another 0 for today with 2 more strikeouts, 161 through the first 8 games. I'm not going to say it yet, but man, oh man, I don't want to buy into what's in the back of my mind of the Jose Abreu vibes. Yainer Diaz, disastrous start to the season for him today. Did have a walk, but he's hitting 095 through the first 3 games of the season, or first 8 games of the season. Jeremy Pena had a good day today, 2 for 4 for him, but he's only up to 185. Brendan Rodgers' bat in this series has come alive a little bit. Another double there late. Also had a walk. That was good to see. Cam Smith, absolutely brutal day today. 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. And you could tell just by watching him, the body language up there at the plate is a little bit, it's tentative. It's probably on edge. They're going to give him some runway here. And you have to give him some runway to figure it out. You can't just keep a guy up for 8 games and be like, see ya. I would go ahead and guess if they hit about the 3-week mark of the season and he is not performing at all, that he'll get sent back to AAA Sugarland. And that was always the concern. Was it a rush job? It was a rush job. I don't think that there's anybody out there that can deny that. They absolutely rushed him up here, but they're going to give him every opportunity to play, as you have to do. If you're going to, because this guy's going to be a cornerstone piece down the road. And I think when you go through these with these guys when they don't perform and they're super young and it's frustrating for you as a fan, remember Kyle Tucker. And not because he got traded, he was landed here because of the Kyle Tucker trade. But remember Kyle Tucker took 3 years. It's 2019, or was it, did he come up in 2018? He didn't do anything. 2019, he didn't do much, but he looked better when he came up. They're late. And then 2020, the COVID season, is when he finally got an opportunity and he played well. I was right. 2018 came up, didn't do anything. 2019 came up, got a little bit of time, looked pretty good, looked pretty solid. And then 2020, his first opportunity, played really well that year. And then we all know what he did after that. He took off and was basically a 30 home run bat every year. So don't completely freak out. The guy played 32 minor league games. It was too darn fast. But I'm going to be hopeful, like everybody else, that he overcomes that and it isn't an issue for him moving forward. I think that, if he hits one ball hard somewhere or gets a result, just from the confidence standpoint, it's going to be massive for Cam Smith. But these guys got to figure out a way to put together good at bats over a lengthy period of time. And you, sir, need to stop barking. Hey, cut it out. Yes, if you're new to this show, the Postcast show, which again, Bear, cut it out. Hey. This show, we have mascots of the show. I have 3 dogs. One of them, he always sits in here. He is in this, there's a chair over here to this side of me, and he usually is dead quiet unless he hears his sister out there barking, and then he just starts to cry and bark and whatever. Again, live shows with the dog. He was not happy with the Astros loss today. I was not happy with the Astros loss today. Good news is, baseball, you get to do it again tomorrow. And we'll do it again tomorrow with a 1:10 first pitch. As soon as the game ends, we'll be live on this channel with the Locked On Astros Postcast. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Forget about this game. Go watch the Cougs in the Final Four tonight. Go Cougs. Hopefully they go and win and advance the national championship game. And we will talk again tomorrow afternoon after the Astros and the Twins on the Locked On Astros Postcast.